Taking a live look over the White House this morning in D.C., the Trump administration's latest push to collect personal data of hundreds of millions of Americans is facing a new challenge in court. That lawsuit challenges changes to a Homeland Security database system called SAVE, which was originally meant to track only foreign-born individuals. Under the Trump administration, it was expanded to use Social Security numbers and now provides information on U.S.-born citizens as well. A new class action lawsuit filed Tuesday says that federal agencies violated federal privacy laws and the U.S. Constitution, putting sensitive data at risk. So we're going to bring in Chief Legal Analyst Colleen Rhodes to talk about the lawsuit and what that means to you. So starting here, I think that all of us assume the government has all of our information at all times, including our Social Security numbers and all that information. So how is this and what the administration is trying to do any different than the information that they have?
Silos. That's
Okay.
the biggest responsibility right there, is that there are laws put in place, specifically the Privacy Act, that allows the government to keep your personal data, personal information, but siloed off from different organizations getting access to it. This is constitutional. What they say in their argument is because it's going against the invasion of your right to privacy first, but then against unconstitutional searches and seizures. If you are wanting to get my information, you got to go get a warrant, you got to get a subpoena, you got to go get access to it. So I just can't pass it along. Silos are bad in a number of situations when you're trying to do investigations, but they're good when you're trying to protect personal information. It's kind of like a firewall. If I'm in a law firm and I have multiple folks working in there and one person can't touch this case, I'm going to silo them off. I'm going to put a firewall protecting around them. I'll make sure that they can still work in this firm, but they can't touch this case. Sometimes that happens in lawsuits when there's a conflict. Maybe this one individual in this massive firm work for that company. So because we're going to be allowed to take this case only if this person doesn't, work with the case, you got to silo them off. It's the same way here. You have this information. You have a ton of personal information that, yeah, you may have it with the Social Security, you may have it with the IRS, but we don't need you to have it at Homeland Security. So now we have these strict walls up, these strict borders, and you can't breach those. Now, because you've breached those, now you have lawsuits. You have the League of Women Voters. You have independent individuals bringing a lawsuit saying that I want to ensure that my information is protected. And I mean, you have a lot of crazy things that are going on in this complaint. You talked about SAVE. You talk about CREW. That's the Citizens Responsible for Ethics in Washington. That's the folks that are bringing this claim. Then you talk about a data lake. So what's a data lake? I'm pretty sure they're not throwing rocks in there. You got Social Security numbers, biometric data, tax information, wage and employee records, medical and disability records, among others. That's all the information they're saying that these folks are just dumping into one massive database. And now states can access that database without getting any judge, without getting anyone, without getting your permission to get access to it.
And so if you're a lawyer for the federal government, what are you arguing as for why this should be something that should be allowed to happen?
The easiest response would be national security, and I believe that's what it was created under. If you're attempting to put this database together that's putting, a pool of individuals that are coming into this country illegally that may not be citizens, then yes, that's what it was originally used for. Now it's not being used for that, because what they found in this search is that you have citizens and non-citizens within this database. So the folks that are in there that are U.S. citizens have those protections under the Privacy Act, where their information should not be shared and cannot be shared unless authorized or given by a judge.
Does the class action nature of this lawsuit give it any strength of being successful?
I mean, a case like this would only come by class action just because of the mass amount of folks and information that's in there. You're talking about 300 million folks' records that are placed into this one location. And so every day it's going to grow. This couldn't be a claim with one or two or three folks, but this injunctive nature, even if it was brought by just the League of Women Voters, would have to have nationwide impact. We talk about nationwide injunctions all the time. This would be one that's right for it. If the court was saying, you know what, League of Women Voters, here's your case, and we'll just address it for the hundreds of members that you have around the country, 1,000 members you have around the country, but you still be having the harm that's affected with this case. And as we've talked about a number of times in the past, injunction, irreparable harm. This is clearly one that you can't put back in the bag. If your Social Security numbers out there, if your medical information is out there, if your wage numbers is out there, now you can't say, oh, I'll pay you money to fix that. Mm-hmm. Clearly irreparable harm. This is one where an injunction would seem to be ripe. Just need to find out now if the facts connect when the judge wants to hear it.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that case and see where that leads. Colleen, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.